Hello person watching this video, my name is Nikoneko and welcome back to Let's Play Pokémon Yellow. Last time, we challenged Sabrina, the Saffron City gym leader, to a battle, and we won a badge. So now, it's time for us to make our way to the beach. There's no more badges we can get on land, so it's time for us to head south on the ocean and ride the waves to our next destination. But before we do that, we'll need to get prepared. I'll show you what I did. First of all, I swapped the team members around because we got a lot of training done last time and a lot of these Pokemon were resting in the storage on PC and I thought it was time for them to get some action. So I took Lumos, which will come in really handy where we're going. And I took back our buddy Rick. Also, we have Lily, who's just about to learn the last move I want her to learn. She's level 37, and I know that in just one level, she'll learn Petal Dance. So hopefully, we'll get her into some battles on our way there, and once that's done, we'll evolve Gloom into Vileplume. We have Ariel, which we'll be surfing on today actually. Ariel will be the one to take us to our next destination on the water. And we have Ringo, which I always like having around because he can use sleep powder. It's always useful when we have to catch Pokemon. And then we have our buddy Picard. That's going to be our team as we make our way on the ocean. So, let's get ready. What I want to do is do a bit of shopping before we leave. Where we're going to need a ton of supplies. So, let's use all that money that we won by challenging Sabrina and her disciples. Well, I'm not going to use all of it, but at least we have enough to buy everything we need. I'm going to buy 15 Ultra Ball. We already have Revive and Full Heal, so I'm going to buy, let's say, 5 Hyper Potions. Let's see what we have. We have 17 Ultra Ball, 2 Full Heals, 6 Super Potions, 1 Revive, and 5 Hyper Potions. I think with this we should be good. And just to play it safe, I'll buy 3 Super Repels. It's going to be very convenient to have that as we make our way to our next destination. You'll see why. We'll be encountering a very common Pokemon, and it can get very annoying fast if you don't have Repel on you. I just like to be prepared. Right, Picard? Are you eager to go on the ocean? Yeah, you want to go, huh? Me too. Hey, Lapras. It's time to do some surfing of our own. Let's head to the beach. Oh, it's been a while since I went there. Brings me back memories of when I was a kid. My parents would take me to the beach. We'd actually go very close to the United States when we went to the beach. It was a lot of fun. Oh, there's 2 trainers here. Thanks, kid. I'm ready for a swim. Oh, right. I remember. I actually went here off screen while I was doing some training and I remember fighting him. Well, hello. Wait, you'll have a heart attack. A heart attack? Oh, you mean swimming without doing some workouts before. That's always something you need to be worried about. Well, something you need to be careful about. So we have a level 29 Goldeen. This should be perfect for Lumos. I don't have to be afraid of Goldeen using Peck since we're an electric type. Plus, Lumos has a ton of defense. Oh, this is going to be such a breeze for Lumos. Maybe I should switch to Lily. We do need a bit of experience too, if we ever want to learn Petal Dance. I'll just go with Absorb. I wonder if I could do more damage with Acid. Let's see here. Is it enough to knock it out? Not quite. Oh, and now it's using smokescreen. Great. Ah, fantastic. Come on, Lily. There you go. A nice clean cut. What's next? Staryu? You can keep going, Lily. Okay, how much damage will Acid do? Oh, very good! Oh, but it's using Recover, of course. It would have been too easy. And now we're missing. That smokescreen is really taking effect. My goodness, I'm not a fan of these moves that lower your accuracy. It just delays the battle, really. Here you go. Oh, that's chilly! Watch out for Tentacool! So, the warning you just gave us, we'll have to take it to heart. This water is crawling with Tentacool. There's so many of them in there. So that's why I bought Super Repel. As we make our way to the islands, at least we'll be using Super Repel. I don't want to have to deal with Tentacool. Especially since we already caught one anyway. Well, Lily, are you ready? Ariel, it's time to go for a swim. Hi there! I look at this sea to forget. Forget about what? Were you heartbroken, my friend? You came to the ocean to think and reconsider everything. Maybe to get away from your problems. I'm joking right now, but to be honest, I do remember taking a trip in New Brunswick when I was a teenager. And we were staying for 2 weeks in this beautiful camping. I think it's called Kuchibukwak. It's a weird name, but it's a very lovely camping. It's in the woods, and there's a lot of space between each camping spot, so you don't see the people camping around you. You do get at least some isolation and peace and quiet. And the camping spots are big, so we went, it was my parents, my friend Vincent, and I. And we went for, yeah, that was it, 2 weeks. It's quite a drive from where I live. I mean, I live close to Montreal, which is in the province of Quebec. And New Brunswick is much further southeast. It's quite a drive, but it was a lot of fun just making it there. I saw a lot of scenery I'd never seen before as we drove to New Brunswick. There were a lot of trees, of course, because it's so deep in the woods, but when we made it to the ocean side, I was in awe. I couldn't believe how gorgeous it was. Let's just focus for a second. I want to see if it's worth it to teach Lumos Supersonic. Not really. Eventually, I want to get rid of Sonic Boom, but Supersonic? I'm not sure. Sonic Boom only does 20. By now, it's not so good anymore. I will replace Sonic Boom for Supersonic, for now, at least. Okay, what's next? Poliwhirl. You can keep going, Lumos. So yeah, I remember my parents decided that when we went to New Brunswick we would take the scenic route, and by that I mean it could have been faster to use the highway, of course, but there was barely anything to see on the highway, and my parents wanted us to see some beautiful scenery and some cute villages along the way. So we took a detour, and we saw all those lovely towns by the ocean side. And just that made me realize that there was a lot more to the world than what I thought. When you spend so much time always in the same town, with your friends, always at the same school, you don't really get a notion of how huge and beautiful and diverse the world can be. And that trip to New Brunswick showed me that. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because that swimmer we met earlier said that he was going into the ocean to forget. And while I may just have been a teenager, I was about 14, maybe going on 15, but I was very young. Still, it was my first heartbreak. It may sound silly, but when you're a teenager and you have your first heartbreak, it looks a lot worse. And I was devastated when we left. But luckily, my friend Vincent was there with us. I was so glad that my parents had decided that we could take Vincent with us on a 2-week camping trip. And during that summer, we had spent already so much time together. We had a bunch of stories we were working on. We were getting along really nicely. So, yeah, when we made it to New Brunswick, Vincent and I agreed that there would be no talk of heartbreak or drama, and that we just forget about that stuff and enjoy the vacation. Oh, Lily grew to level 38. Okay, let's teach it Petal Dance. I know exactly which move I want to get rid of. I'm going to replace Absorb. Acid still does a good amount of damage and it's a poison type move, but Absorb is not good anymore. And I'll keep Poison Powder, just in case. Here you go! Lily will be ready to evolve once we get back to land. She's so far ahead, level 38 already. Okay, let's see. Okay, we can keep things that way. Lumos can keep going for a while, and when he gets tired and runs out of Thunderbolt, we'll switch to Picar. Okay, oh, there's a bunch of swimmers gathered here. So, yeah, about that vacation. I remember my friend Vincent had brought a bunch of music with him because he knew that, of course, we'd still be able to listen to music even if we were camping. We had a radio in the car, and every time my parents would take us, like, basically what we do every day at the camping, because there's only so much you can do at the actual camping site. You can go on bike rides, you can take walks in the wood and go on the ocean side, but they always wanted to show us around New Brunswick. There's a lot of things to do in New Brunswick. So every time we'd go for a drive with my parents, my friend Vincent would be the one to decide what we'd be listening to in the car. He had brought music from Chrono Cross, which was his favorite game at the time. I think it still is one of his favorite games. And I remember hearing the song Radical Dreamers for the first time. I'd never heard that song before, and I didn't know what the game was about. I knew that the game started on a beach, because I'd seen the very beginning. And because of that, I always thought Chrono Cross was a game that had a lot to do with the ocean. And so I listened to Radical Dreamers, and that song is very powerful. It's one of those songs that when it comes on, I stop everything I'm doing, regardless of what it was, and it just influences my mood. Maybe now partly because of nostalgia, but mostly just because the song is powerful in itself. The melody is so memorable and emotional that even without understanding the lyrics, you can still get into it and feel the emotions. And that song just takes you on a trip. When I hear Radical Dreamers now, I always think back to that vacation in New Brunswick, and that one evening where Vincent and I went for a walk when we came back from exploring with my parents, and we went back to the camping. The sun was setting, and Vincent and I decided to go on a walk on the beach, just to watch the sunset and the ocean. And there was nobody on the beach. It was so quiet. There was this area, there was this cycling road that just went along the side of the beach. And if you were to get off the cycling road and walk down to the beach, which was a bit lower, there were all these big rocks. And we decided to just sit there and watch the sunset, looking at the waves. And all along, In my head, the Radical Dreamer song was still just playing. Oh, Lumos is evolving! Congratulations, Lumos! Good work! You're growing so fast, this is some great training. Lumos evolved into Magneton. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, this is great. Huh, it's so close to leveling up again. Fantastic. Okay, next trainer. So, yeah. I would just think back to that song, and then I realized that even if I was heartbroken, there was still so much more I was going to do, and that sadness I was feeling was really small in the grand scheme of things. I looked at the horizon on the ocean and realized that there's a whole world out there of people, and some of them might have been heartbroken too. But I also thought, I have so much more people to meet and so many more things to see that my heartbreak didn't seem so big anymore. So we just looked at the waves, and my friend Vincent taught me how to do ricochet with the rocks. I don't remember what they're called in English when you throw a rock and it bounces on the water. In French we call them ricochet, but in English I don't remember. But yeah, he was teaching me that. Radical Dreamers, what a beautiful song. If you ever find yourself the time to listen to it, I recommend it. And if you can ever listen to it while on a trip by the ocean, by all means do it. It's worth it. Come on, Picard, you're up next. It's crazy how beautiful a beach can be. And there's always that smell too. That salty smell because of all the fish and all the wildlife in the water. Sometimes as you walk on the beach, you'll see pieces of wood that have been washed ashore, and you just wonder, did this wood traverse the entire ocean to float here? Because it's possible. So many things come from the ocean. It's crazy what you can find on a beach, and it makes you wonder how far it came from, you know? Sometimes you'll find those jellyfish too in the sand. They drift there while the tide is high, and then in the morning when the tide goes back down, they just get stranded on the beach. And some of them have those beautiful colors. Like colors you'd never expect to find in a natural living being. I mean, of course, birds have very eccentric and gorgeous colors, but still, every time something in nature has a natural blue or purple color, or a bright green, while it's not a plant, of course, it just strikes me because it's so uncommon. And sometimes these jellyfish would have colors like they would be this deep purple, and then at their core there were shades of bright orange. It looked like they were made of pure purple darkness on the outside, but the inside was glowing like fire. Like it was warm. Which is technically kind of true, because from what I remember, my parents telling me when I was a kid when we went to the ocean, they'd tell me that the jellyfish could burn you if they came in contact with you. They don't exactly burn you, but they do have something on them that causes you to feel numb when you touch them. Maybe they can leave a mark like a burn on you. But I remember that scaring me so much. When my parents explained about these jellyfish, I didn't want to go in the water anymore for a while as a kid. And my father had convinced me to go for a swim anyway. So I followed him, even though I was terrified of coming across a jellyfish. Only for my father to suddenly look like he was hurt all of a sudden. And then I'm like, What's going on? And my father says, I have a cramp. And apparently, what I did, according to my parents, is that I ran out of the water, panicking, saying, my father's got a cramp, my father's got a cramp, because I was thinking that a cramp was a type of jellyfish. Yeah. I wasn't the brightest kid sometimes. I guess I'm still not the brightest kid. Right, Picard? Yeah. You know, technically, these tentacle living in the water here are jellyfish. Gives me shivers just thinking about it. Our buddy Ariel is pretty brave swimming in there. I don't have a hard time imagining that if you come in contact with a tentacle, it's the same as coming in contact with a real-life jellyfish. You'll just feel this numbness and this burning sensation. Well, that's how I see it at least. Okay, let's see here. Lumos is too exhausted to use Thunderbolt again, so I'm going to have to switch things around. I think it's time for Ariel to train a little bit. Her water attacks won't be effective against other water types, but we can always use her physical attacks like Double Edge. Seafoam is a quiet getaway. Seafoam. That's the place we're going. It's our next destination. We're almost there. There's so many girls swimming around here. Beauty sent out Seadra. Huh, alright. How much damage can we do with Double Edge? I'm just going to switch things around. I don't like when attacks are organized in a way that the longest attack is not at the end. I'll show you what I mean. It's my OCD. See, Double Edge, it's the biggest amount of letters, and I like it to be at the bottom. I like the tiny attacks to be in the middle, so it's like an attack sandwich. An attack sandwich. Think twice about that. Quality entertainment at its best. You just learned what an attack sandwich is. Okay, that's one down. Who's next? Oh, it's just a little horsey. Well, let's keep it up with Double Edge. And then we'll finish it off with Bite. The thing with Double Edge, though, is that we do take damage every time we use it. However, the amount of damage is determined by the amount of damage that we deal to the opponents. The reason why we took so much recoil damage now was because we did so much damage to Horsey. I'm going to switch to Rick. Rick needs some training too. I wonder how strong Hyper Fang's okay, it's not bad. It's just that we've had Hyper Fang for a long time, and in the beginning it was a very strong move, but we're starting to be further ahead in the game, and I think it's time for Rick to learn something new. I'd like it if Rick would learn Super Fang. But at least he's got Dig, and that's always going to be good. Oh, we made it to Seafoam Island! Ah, we finally made it to shore. Now, Seafoam is not a very big island on the surface. As a matter of fact, it's very small. There's one trainer here on the exterior, but you see these caves? This is where we're going to go. This cave here connects underground to this cave here. And in order to reach it, we have no choice but to go underground. So, we're going to go and explore Seafoam Island. But I think we're going to explore Seafoam Island next time. So, until next time everyone, I wish you all a good night. And thanks for watching!